All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, Bitcoin is seeing a bit of a pump today. We are recovering from yesterday's dump, but yesterday we did break market structure bearishly to the downside. So, as traders, we do need to look for at least a lower high to come in on the charts where we could reject and then see that real breakdown where we do come down maybe to 97K or 96.5, where we have the point of control of our big range. That is something that I am watching now. Now we have re-entered back within the channel. Yesterday in the video, I was talking about a couple levels where we could look for this lower high to come in. And primarily we were looking around the golden pocket where we did have the bearish back test of the channel as well. If I go ahead and pull that golden pocket real quick, we can see that golden pocket was coming in right at the bearish back test of that channel. We did get a small rejection from there, and I did take a scalp after we started bouncing from the VWAP. I took out just enough to cover fees, and then I got stopped out. So really it was a nothing trade there. And we were able to re-enter back within the channel and come up to about the 786, a little bit higher than the 786. And we are seeing a rejection. So if we are going to put in a lower high, it has to be from the 786 or at the very least, obviously the 886, which is in confluence with the midline of our channel. If we break this 886, not only are we going to come take out the highs of yesterday, but we're probably going to come much higher on Bitcoin. Maybe even coming up to the naked daily point of control around 107.8 and maybe even breaking all-time highs. But Bitcoin is at the macro value area high of our range. We can expect some consolidation and some ranging in this area. Oftentimes, when you hit into a macro level like this, you will see a bit of a range. So let's actually zoom out onto the 2-hour chart. And remember, when we hit into this point of control area, we saw a bit of a range in this point of control area, ranged for about a week before ultimately flipping it and breaking it to the upside. We are now at the next major level of resistance on the charts, being the value area high of that same range. And so we could see Bitcoin, if it's going to remain bullish, it will consolidate in this area, form a range for a bit, and then it could break out of this area, breaking up to new all-time highs and potentially much higher. But with Bitcoin losing some market structure locally, we can also look for that lower high to be put in before a real bigger retracement to the downside. So as a trader, I am watching both scenarios. The main thing that I'm watching right now today on the charts is the back test of this channel. And you can see so far, we broke back in the channel. We are back testing the bottom of it, and we are seeing a bit of a pump here on Bitcoin. That tells me that Bitcoin might want to re-enter price action, re-enter this trend, and continue trending up here until we come up either to that 886 and midline, or until we come up to other new highs on the chart, SFPing the highs from Monday, maybe even coming up to the top of the channel again. So Bitcoin looking pretty good here, pretty strong, and we are seeing some bearish signs on the chart, like on the 12-minute here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. You guys can see we are seeing some bearish divergences on the chart, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves, and our money flow has topped out and is starting to roll over here. Also, NAMI is showing those bear divs throughout as well. But one thing that NAMI is really, really good at with providing is when they give these hidden bull signals. These hidden bull signals really play out. And as we're coming to backtest the bottom of the channel, you can see that NAMI is giving a hidden bullish continuation signal, telling us that maybe this channel backtest is going to hold and we're at least going to work our way up to this 886 and midline area. Once we get up there, we'll see if we have continued drives of bear div on the 15-minute. If we have continued drives of bear div and our money flow is still coming out here, that could be a good short opportunity to look for a real breakdown on Bitcoin. But let's go ahead now. If Bitcoin does range up in this area for a while, which I do think is probable, if Bitcoin ranges up in this area, what does that mean for the altcoins? Because we are seeing a lot of altcoins pop off and really make big pushes towards the upside. So first of all, let's go on to the total chart and let me zoom out a bit here onto the daily chart. And I want to show you guys something that is very important, what we're seeing on the daily chart. So obviously we came down, we lost the pitchfork, we came down and back tested our previous range value area high and overall held that previous range value area high and made a big push to the upside, a big impulse to the upside. Well, just here now, very, very recently in the last couple days, we were able to break back within that pitchfork, back test that pitchfork on the daily time frame. It is holding so far, and maybe we are going to see a continuation of a push in the total market cap, in the money flow, in the total amount of money pushing into crypto until we break the highs up here or come to our next major pitchfork resistance above us. Right now, it is looking like the crypto market wants to continue higher. We are breaking resistances and flipping them into support and seeing bullish continuation on the charts. We are also above our previous range point of control. Let's actually take this range and extend it all the way now. You can see we have broken above, back tested our point of control, back tested our pitchfork, and we are continuing. So the value area high of this range is going to be right in that pitchfork band area. And there is a big possibility that crypto in general could continue to pump up. Money can continue to come back into crypto until we get up to this next major area of resistance on the charts. Okay, that's it for the total market cap. Now, knowing that the total market cap might come higher, let's check out the altcoin market cap. Altcoin, this is the total 3 chart, so this does exclude ETH, but it's all the other altcoins on the chart. You can see that we bounced from a very, very key level of support. We broke up, first rejection from the pitchfork band, the lower pitchfork band, found a higher low, came up to the top of the pitchfork band, the lower band, and we were finding some resistance up in this area for quite a while, but we did backtest a couple times the lower part of the lower band, and we're able to impulse out of that lower band. So total market cap chart is now running. We are breaking key highs up here. We did see an SFP of the key high yesterday and a bit of a drop, but if we can come up, I do think the total 3 market cap chart could come up just a bit higher to hit the golden pocket. Now this is a log golden pocket pulled from the highs of the move all the way down to the lows, and it's your log golden pocket. That is going to be coming in just a bit higher here. So I do think altcoins could run a bit more. A lot of the altcoins are just away from their resistances as well. So we could see a bit of a rally in altcoins against Bitcoin. If we go on to the total 2 market cap chart, which does include ETH, we did see a bounce from that 786 level, and we are continuing to push up where we do have that golden pocket that is just above us as well. So the total 2 market cap could continue pushing here up to this golden pocket, or possibly even a bit higher up to this 786. It does look like this could be a double 1-2 impulse where we see a 1, 2, 1, 2. We're in our big third wave, maybe coming up to this golden pocket. Then we could reject in a 4, 5, 4, 5, come up to the 786, and then see that bigger dump to the downside. But right now, it does look like altcoins want to run. As far as bearish signals on the chart with our indicators, we are not seeing too many bearish signals on higher time frames for altcoins. Bitcoin is a bit of a different story. We are at the value area high, and we do at least expect some consolidation there. But we know what happens when Bitcoin pumps and then starts to consolidate at key resistance without seeing a real breakdown. Altcoins tend to run, and we could see altcoins, we could see Bitcoin range for a bit, and we could see altcoins tend to run. We could see altcoins run up quite a bit more, and then we could maybe either break up on Bitcoin or break down on Bitcoin as well as the altcoins. Okay, now let's go into the dominance chart, the Bitcoin dominance chart. So Bitcoin dominance for quite a while, let's go on to the 4-hour chart. For quite a while, we've been following this ascending channel, actually first 2-day chart. 2-day chart, so every candle is 2 days. We've been trading within this channel since March of 2023. We've been just in a consistent uptrend on Bitcoin dominance. Now, last week, we had flipped this midline and held this midline for a couple weeks as support, and we were seeing another impulse up here. And when we were up in this area last week, I did say it does look like Bitcoin dominance is going to come a little bit higher to hit the top of the channel. Once we hit the top of the channel, we could see a rally on altcoins because Bitcoin might be dumping. Bitcoin dominance is at resistance, and Bitcoin could be either ranging or, dumping a little bit or a lot of it, while altcoins are pumping a little bit, or at least not dumping as much as Bitcoin. So we did see that. We saw the rejection from the top of our major 2-3 year long channel, 2-year long channel. And yesterday in the video, I covered this and we were bouncing from the midline. We were attempting a bounce from the midline. So now I can zoom in on the 4-hour chart. You can see that we had come down to that midline. We were attempting a bounce from the midline, Bitcoin dominance, but now we are breaking it down today. That bounce failed and now we are breaking down. So with Bitcoin dominance hitting the top of our channel, seeing a rejection from the top of the channel, now breaking our midline down, we could see Bitcoin dominance drop all the way to the bottom of the channel. And at the bottom of the channel, we have some key liquidity that's down there as well into the bottom of the channel where we could see Bitcoin just ranging, which would cause dominance, and then altcoins pumping, which would cause dominance to continue dropping here. This is why I am expecting altcoins to rally against Bitcoin in the next week or so. And we are seeing some strong pushes up on the altcoins right now. And Bitcoin is pushing up, but it's not pushing up near as strong as the altcoins. And that's why this dominance is going down. We are starting to see money rotate into the altcoins here. Okay, so as far as Bitcoin goes, we are at that key resistance area. Let's actually zoom in here. Are we seeing this hold? It is attempting to hold the back test of this channel. If we lose this channel, at least coming down to the VWAP, but we could come down to break yesterday's lows. Okay, and then as far as our CVD and open interest goes on Bitcoin, we are seeing very, very locally from the bounce from this morning when we dropped to the VWAP and bounced from the VWAP, we are seeing some bullish CVD, just very slightly bullish CVD. We're making higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the CVD, but our open interest has been decreasing the whole time. So it's not absorption happening on the charts, but it is bullish CVD. And this bullish CVD could at least give us a push up to that 886. Where then in that scenario, because the target for this bullish CVD is just to take out the highs that we just had. So if we do hit up into that 886, we could see the rejection from there. That's also our channel midline. But Bitcoin is not too many signals here on Bitcoin as far as absorption goes. And if we look at our liquidation heat map, we did take out most of the liquidity that was above us today. We took that out in that push up. And now you can see a majority of the liquidity is actually below us. Down below 101K, which yesterday we did fall down to about 101.7. So we do have a lot of liquidity resting below yesterday's lows. And if we do lose this channel, we could come down and grab that liquidity and possibly come down much further down to that 97K area of support, which was our macro point of control. The strongest resistance on the charts. Now we broke it to the upside, and we really on higher time frames have not back tested it to flip it to support yet. If we are going to reject in this mega rally that we've seen so far, it's going to be from this value area high, and we will eventually, most likely, probable, work our way down to that point of control to test that point of control and flip it to support. If that point of control doesn't hold, then it's a whole different story. We could see much bigger drops on Bitcoin, but we will cover that when we get there, if we get there. Okay, now on to Ethereum. Guys, Ethereum is just bullish AF today. Ethereum, if we zoom out on Ethereum, yesterday, first of all, we did talk about that purple box of resistance above us is the box that we were going to be watching for Ethereum, most probable to pump up to this box. So Ethereum on Monday, we hit into the top of the bottom part of the upper band of the pitchfork. We had pumped from the lower band. You can see we flipped the lower band to support and busted straight through the midline of the pitchfork all the way up to the upper band. We rejected from the upper band, but we came down and we held the anchored VWAP from the cycle highs, from the 4,100 highs. Let's zoom out a bit here. This anchored VWAP from the 4,100 highs now is flipping into support. And you can see here, after Ethereum rejected that pitchfork band, dropped down to the anchored VWAP, but held the anchored VWAP multiple times as support. And now we are breaking up and making new highs. Now, I did just finish a stream on Jason's Discord. We just hit into a level of resistance that is the start of our big resistance. Now, the purple box is the main area I'm watching, but this, I would not be surprised if we do see a rejection from where we just hit up into. This area is a naked monthly point of control at 27.17, but also it is the start of the macro golden pocket. You can see if I zoom out onto the daily chart, and we look at that golden pocket, it starts at 27.10, and that is where the 618 of the golden pocket pull from our highs all the way to our lows, that macro log golden pocket is coming in right at that 27.10. That's the 618 of it. So we hit the naked monthly point of control and we hit the 618 of the macro golden pocket, and the value area low of our previous range is right in this area. So this was the fair value for Ethereum for really a year or so, from February 2024 all the way to about February of 2025. So for about a year, we were chopping within this upper range, finding the fair value for Ethereum. We lost that fair value, and since we have lost that fair value, yes, we did bounce from critical support. Now we are back testing the fair value of the prior year's fair value of Ethereum to see whether Ethereum is going to re-enter back within that fair value, just like Bitcoin did a couple weeks ago, or if we are going to reject from this general area and see a dump down, even if it's to make a higher low, a big dump and a big retracement down to start more of an accumulation cycle. But Ethereum is coming up into some very, very key resistances. It is still looking bullish, though. You can see on the daily time frame, no bull divs. Money flow is still coming up. No bear divs, excuse me. No bear divs. Money flow is still coming up. Also on NAMI here, we are not confirming bear divs locally here, and our money flow is still coming up. We also got that hidden bullish signal print. I guess that was when we flipped that SR flip level. But if we zoom in onto the 4-hour chart, we are seeing a possibility of multiple drives of 4-hour bear divs. You can see here, 1 high, 2 high, 3 high, 4 highs on the price action, one high, one lower high, one lower high, and possibly another lower high on the 4-hour chart. We also see NAMI printing those bear divs, but money flow still looks pretty good on Market Cipher B and on NAMI. Money flow is still rising. So because money flow is still rising, even though we have multiple drives of bear div on the 4-hour time frame, which is a high time frame, I do think that we might be able to continue a bit higher to actually hit up into our purple box. And that would give us that resistance being the weekly level, the 0.65 of the golden pocket, which is like primarily what I'm looking at. And then we also have some other levels up in that area. We have a daily level. Let's see here if we just click on this. And yeah, we have a daily level. We have our previous range value area low. And we do not quite have the top of the pitchfork, but it's the upper band of the pitchfork. This area is an area where we could see a rejection from. We do have bear divs forming, but money flow, we need money flow to start topping out and curving to the downside. So that's why I think this naked monthly point of control we did reject from could reject us now. We could front run this box, and I would say that's completely acceptable. But based off money flow, I do think we might continue just a bit higher to hit that weekly level. Okay, now zooming in onto the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, we are forming those bear divs. You can see we are forming multiple drives once again, but money flow, well, okay, so now that we are starting to see a little bit of a rejection from the naked monthly point of control, money flow is finally starting to round out here. Money flow overall, the highs on money flow was a couple highs ago, around yesterday's highs. So money flow is starting to round over on the 2-hour chart, which is exactly what we want to see, with multiple drives of bear divs at resistance in order for a bigger pullback to come. So I just want to warn that Ethereum looks bullish, really, really bullish, and is not really showing any signs of weakness. But at the moment, we are coming up into some key resistances with some bear divs on the chart. And this is an area where we could see an actual real correction from. If we do see that real correction, once again, I'm going to be looking down. First of all, taking out these range lows around 2270 will be an area where if we bounce from that area, I will look to TP the short. If I'm not in a short yet, but if we do short this area up here, that would be a TP1 area for me. But overall, I'd be looking at this box down below us. So let me zoom out just a bit. It is the green box down below us, which is the pitchfork midline. It's going to be a weekly level. It's a naked weekly point of control. We have a naked daily point of control, and we have a golden pocket, which now that golden pocket is going to change Let's double check that golden pocket now because we have made new highs. Golden pocket is a bit higher now, but in that general vicinity, we could be looking at Ethereum to find support. So let me turn on those weeklies. Yeah, okay, the weeklies at the bottom. I'm just going to pull this box up a bit higher now because that golden pocket has changed. Okay, so that is our major support level on Ethereum. And by the time we get down there, if we do reject from this purple box up here, our anchored VWAP from the lows could be pretty much within this box. But I am not looking to short Ethereum until we start to see money flow curve over with these bear divs still intact. And I want to see a bit of a low time frame range forming up in this area. We are in the area of the pitchfork band, and we did bounce from the lower band, but this pitchfork band should give us some resistance, at least some consolidation in this area. That is about it for Ethereum. Let's go on to Solana. Solana is at the top of our pitchfork. Once again, our pitchfork has been rejecting us multiple times. You can see here, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Now we're at the 4th time testing the pitchfork. We did break yesterday's highs. Didn't even quite come down to the bottom of the midline of the pitchfork, which I was hoping we could make it down there for a long opportunity. We did not make it down there for the long opportunity. Front ran it by just a bit. We also have our anchored VWAP from the all-time high that's coming in right there. But Solana's looking bullish, guys. Solana does have those same bear divs on the chart. You can see here 4 higher highs in price action, lower lows in the momentum waves, and our money flow has topped out and is starting to curve to the downside. But I do think with this major resistance just above us, just like with Ethereum's purple box, I do think some of these coins could come just a bit higher here, hitting into that major resistance, creating more bear divs on the chart with money flow coming out. And that could give us a great shorting opportunity where we could see a bigger retracement on some of these coins, maybe even back all the way to the bottom of the pitchfork. We'll have to see how this plays out. Right now, locally, Solana is finding more resistance at the top of this pitchfork, but it is really not rejecting. And lower time frame, 15-minute chart, money flow still looks very strong, and we do not see bear divs on the chart. So as of now, we're at resistance, at the pitchfork resistance, but no real rejection and no real signs of rejection as far as our indicators go. Money flow still looks strong on NAMI as well. No bear divs on NAMI. Now, one thing I would like to see that we are not seeing is those hidden bull signals that NAMI is so good at printing for us. We do not see any hidden bull signals here on NAMI's indicator here. But what we could see just very locally, like over the next 24 hours, we could see a small pullback to the VWAP, which you can see the VWAP is going to be in confluence with the upper part of the pitchfork band. And then we could break out up to our key resistance above us, which is a macro log golden pocket. It's our previous range value area low. It's our macro range value area high. And we have a daily in there as well. Okay, so that is pretty much it for Solana. Looking bullish here. Do think we could see overall, we have a higher probability of seeing continuation to the upside to that 195 to like 200 level. But if we pull back from this area, I would understand, and I would just be looking for a higher low, higher low to come in on the charts to look for a long to get up to that area, a scalp long. That is it for Solana. Now, Sui is still just chopping, guys. Sui is just chopping in this macro golden pocket area that we have been talking about on the charts. If we zoom out on Sui onto the daily chart from the lows, we are towards the end of an impulse here. So we saw our nice clear 5-wave impulse to the upside. Now the target for that 5th wave is between the 1.236 and the 1.618. You can see we have not quite made it up to the 1.618 yet. And I do think that Sui could continue to push up to that 434 level where we could see an SFP, a swing failure pattern, a liquidity grab of the highs that we made yesterday into that 434 level. So an SFP into your 1.618, that could complete your 5th wave and of your more macro daily impulse to the upside. And then we could see a bigger dump. But one thing that I want to talk about within this big daily impulse 5th wave, we should see a 5-wave count within itself. So if we zoom in here and look on the charts, we can see a 1, 2, Now, I got to say, all of this is going to be a 3 because we didn't see any break in market structure through here. So that's 3. We finally saw that break in market structure and a drop here in a 4. So we should be expecting one more local push up in a wave 5, maybe up to that 1.618 area, where then we could see the overall bigger impulse end, and then we could see that dump to the downside. We did bounce from the 382, which was the target for the wave forward to bounce from. If any of you guys were live with me on last Tuesday, I think it was, on the streams, we caught this exactly here, expecting a wave 5 impulse to the upside, and that's exactly what we got. Okay, so that is about it for SUI. Now, if SUI does reject from this 434 level, we do need to expect a bigger 3-wave corrective move down, and that corrective move down could drop all the way to the golden pocket from the lows of the move to the highs of the move. So let's go ahead and come in here, and we already have that golden pocket on the charts here. That golden pocket is coming in around 243, where we could see that golden pocket really. Let's actually just double check this here. Okay, never mind. That's the wrong golden pocket. Let me get rid of that guy. Okay, golden pocket's coming in around 270, 269, 262 to 270. And we could find support here. We don't have to drop all the way to the golden pocket. We could hold the 0.5. We could hold the 382. But generally, after a bigger impulse completes like this, you generally do see a bigger corrective move. Now, it could be a deeper correction where we do drop to the golden pocket. It could be a flat correction where all we do is take out the lows of wave 4 and then see a push back up. Or it could be a complex correction where we spend much larger time correcting. But I would expect some sort of correction coming soon on SUI after making one more local high. Okay, that is about it for SUI. Let's go on to XRP. Now, guys, XRP is still at the value area high and the golden pocket of our more macro range, our range that we've been in for 5 months, since like the end of November, beginning of December. And we flipped that value area low to support. We broke above the point of control. We even yesterday kind of came back down and back tested that point of control. We did front run the back test just slightly, but you can see the anchored VWAP from the highs, the all-time high is there, and the point of control of our macro range is there. We did drop pretty much to hold that as support, and now we are working our way back up, and we are testing the value area high again today. Overall, I would say XRP looks bullish. XRP looks like it wants to break out of this macro descending channel that we've been in for 5 months. Money flow looks very, very strong on the 4-hour chart. We are seeing those bear divs come in, but even with these bear divs, that money flow will overpower those bear divs. So if money flow starts to top out and if we start to range here for a bit, which is highly probable, and money flow starts to top out, then we could actually see that correction down at least to touch the point of control, which we didn't touch, or to even come a little bit lower to 228. But overall, XRP looks pretty strong here, and I do think XRP wants to continue upwards, maybe after seeing a bit of a correction. Let's go ahead and zoom out onto the daily chart, and let's look at XRP on the daily chart. So daily on XRP on the daily, we are pretty much making double highs on the momentum waves, but our money flow is still crossed over into the green. And if you look at NAMI here, NAMI's already invalidated the bear divs on the chart, and money flow looks very strong on NAMI here. So I think a breakout on XRP could be coming. What I would like to see personally, now this is just what I would like to see. I would like to see one more pullback to actually touch that point of control, which would give us a great longing opportunity for the breakout, maybe even to come take out our highs that we created back in, what was that, January, mid-January. But XRP looking pretty good here. If we start to break this value area high and the top of this channel, we could see a big push up on XRP. Now, we do have some resistance above us. The resistance, we have a weekly level, a value area low of this upper range, just this micro upper range. We have the 786, we have the naked daily point of control, a naked weekly point of control, and the channel top is no longer in that area. But we do have an SFP up there as well. So that is still a strong resistance above us. If we break that, we have a very small sliver of resistance, but really, we're probably going to come make new highs on XRP. XRP is looking this whole 5 months of sideways and down price action overall for XRP does look more corrective than a big impulse down. And overall, on the macro scale on higher time frames, XRP looks like it wants to continue higher. If we do get a rejection from this value area high and we even rotate all the way down to the value area low, it could be a good swing long opportunity to look for the breakout of this range that we've been in for 5 months, and to, even maybe a spot buy if you're comfortable buying this high. Okay, that is about it for XRP. Now, so yeah, for support levels, 241, that point of control is our first major support level. If we break that, I think that 228 to 226 level is going to give us a little bit of support. If we lose that, honestly, we're probably going to come down to the value area low around 207. Chainlink here. Chainlink is hitting up into that resistance area that we were talking about. Let's zoom into the 2-hour chart. And we've hit up into this a couple times. It's a daily, it's a value area low back test of our upper range that we had lost, and it's a naked weekly point of control. So as Chainlink comes up into this resistance, we are seeing multiple drives of bear div on the chart, just like many of the coins. But we are not really seeing, actually, I would say just between these two highs, really, we were not seeing money flow top out yet. Now money flow is topped out and is starting to decline to the downside. So we could see a real pullback on Chainlink from this area, or we could come just a bit higher to that like 18.6 to a $19 area, where that's a much nicer area of resistance. Let's zoom out here on the charts. That is our golden pocket, our point of control, channel midline, and a weekly level. But XRP is at resistance, and we are seeing bear devs on the chart. Now, look on the 4-hour chart, though. Money flow looks hyper bullish on the 4-hour. Yes, we are seeing those bear divs, but until this money flow starts to round out and drop to the downside, we can expect Chainlink to continue to kind of push up here, creating more and more bear divs, but money flow always overpowers that. We also have that key hidden bull signal that NAMI gives us, seeing that hidden bullish div, maybe continuation up to this next box of resistance, or even like a major resistance above us is the area between like a $21, 20.6 down to like 19.9-ish. XRP overall looking pretty good. Getting a little bit overextended here for XRP, and we could see a bit of a dump from these resistances coming up on the charts here. But right now, it doesn't look like it wants to. We are seeing a small rejection. We could drop to the VWAP, bounce from the VWAP. We're just forming a range here now, intraday kind of range that we're forming. We're above the value area high of that range. So as long as we're above the value area high, we could continue up to the next resistance. If we break below the value area high of this range, VWAP is almost a certainty. But if we lose VWAP, then we could come even take out the lows of this range. Let's actually check out our golden pocket here. Yeah, golden pocket's at the point of control. So I guess 16.6 could be a local if we are just going to continue ranging. 16.6 could be a nice little area where we bounce and then continue up. And then our 786 is also going to be around the value area low. So those are two local scalp levels to look for. If we're seeing low time frame bull divs coming into either of these areas, you could look to attempt a scalp long, even to take out the highs. I would at least TP1 once you take out your highs. But that's about it on Chainlink. Now, if Chainlink does see the bigger rejection, if we do not make it one more box higher or two more boxes higher, if Chainlink does see the bigger rejection, I do think we could pull back. Let's zoom out on the charts, 2-hour chart. I do think we could pull back to this green box on the charts, which is our major range point of control. It's a 786 level, and it's the pitchfork band. the bottom of the pitchfork band. Now, this range that we have on the charts is a range that goes all the way back to our, what was that, November of 2023. So 2-year range almost. Little, yeah, 1.5-year range. You can see the value area high of that range is right at that pitchfork midline, which is a very, very key level for me to be watching. 20.6. If we make it up there with continuing bear divs, I will look to short that. We would also be taking out these internal highs that are up here on the chart. Let me zoom in so you can get a better look at that. All of these internal highs here that were our dead cat bounce highs after our major drop in February. So yeah, Chainlink overall looks pretty good here. We are seeing some bear divs come on the chart, some warning signals flash, but no real weakness yet on Chainlink. Okay, guys, that is about it for today. Let's be aware of Bitcoin dominance. If Bitcoin dominance does continue to drop, we're going to see a rally on those altcoins. And we could expect Bitcoin to start ranging here for a bit at the value area high of our macro range. Let's see. It looks like Bitcoin might be losing that channel. Yes. Bitcoin is starting to drop and lose the channel a bit. That's not so if we don't bounce from VWAP, we could come down and finally take out yesterday's lows and maybe even come to 97K. We need to be aware of that. Okay, that is it for today. I do have a couple sponsors of the channel. I have BYDFI. Now, BYDFI is offering up to 15% cash back on your first initial deposit, so up to $1,000 cash back. That is just free money they're giving you for depositing on the exchange. This is a no KYC exchange and a no VPN required to trade. Just need an email to sign up and log in. They are also offering up to 17% trading discounts on your trading fees and more depending on how much money you deposit, and up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses depending on how much volume you move. The next partner is MEXC. MEXC is offering up to 10% cash back on your deposit and up to $20,000 in trading bonuses depending on how much volume you trade with. Both links are in the description. The links for NAMI are in the description as well. NAMI is a great indicator, and I do have a 50% off code running for a limited time on NAMI if you want to give it a try. Link is in the description with the discount code posted in the description. If you guys got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please share the video with any of your friends or family, and I will see you tomorrow.